Yo, everybody, it's Dave Windor from Monster Magnet, and you're listening to The Rock Show with Gully and Joe.
You are listening to The Rock Show with Gully and Joe, and today I am with Howard H. fucking Smith from Acid Rain. How you doing, Howard?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Joe.
Last year we had the Apple Core Archives released, which, for people that don't know, was everything Acid Rain recorded, bar one or two live songs, in one big box set, and extremely good value for money. Yeah, we've had it on the show, and yeah, we'll talk about that for a bit and then take it on to what will lead to the reunion, or reboot, as we're calling it. How do you feel the albums have aged? I mean, they've got a whole new audience now, haven't they? They've got new thrashers are sort of getting into they're learning their history, they're picking this up. What's the feedback been like on the package and stuff like that?
Yeah, to be honest, that's the one thing I'm kind of not really aware of. I mean, the main amount of feedback has been via the Facebook page, which has all been positive. People have been really cool about it and really chuffed, and that's great. We've had people all over the world, sending us pictures of them with their archives as they arrived. You know, Spitalfield is Australia, Cuba even, which still does my head in. And I mean, the feedback on the Amazon page, where you can buy these fantastic 10 5-star reviews, and some of them quite moving actually. You know, there's one review that, not that I spend all day looking at the reviews, but there's one review where the guy says, like, you know, the song Life Informed got him through a very hard time in his life when he was unemployed, and that's really cool, because I remember writing that song, and I was signing on as well as being an Acid Rain at the time. It wasn't all wine, rhythm and song, and it just really annoyed me, the fact that anything that you wanted you had to fill out this mountain of forms for it. So it was lovely to see that. Anyway, I'm rambling it. Great feedback so far. From new school people, you kind of see comments on YouTube and stuff like that, and it's pretty awesome. It's kind of weird. It does my head in that people are doing, as you said there, people are doing their research and going back and discovering bands like mine, which is crazy, because when you leave a band, or when you stop working in a band like we did in 1991, you kind of think that's it, and you forget about it, and I did for a good decade or more, and then it slowly comes back in your life. Because when you first quit a band, you want to walk away and you don't even want to talk about it. I didn't, I just wanted to get in,
No, I know exactly what you mean. You don't want to see anyone, you don't want to talk about it, you just want to...
You want to talk about the next thing, you want to, and I was all like doing stand-up, and that's my thing now, and everything else, and that, it was like that, I've got to say, it was like that for a decade or more, and then, people start, and you go, oh yeah, and I guess it's we're no different to people who were out there and used to come to the gigs. You get a bit of nostalgia going, and it resulted in putting the archives out, which have had a great response. I think a flavour picked up from a couple of reviews, and the reviews and the press have been very favourable as well, including 4Ks in Kerrang, which back in the day would have meant something, but now it's a fucking teen magazine for hairstyles, means fuck all. But it was, it's still nice to get the review. But there was a phrase that said this what is it? Utterly unnecessary, but totally brilliant package. And I just thought, that pretty much sums up the band.
Yeah, take a look in the mirror, Kerrang.
The trouble with Kerrang these days is it spends too much time in front of the fucking mirror wondering about how much product it's got in its fucking hand.
Yeah, so we've got the Acid Rain reboot, which was gaining a bit of momentum, but recently a bit of a spanner's been thrown in the works, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with Mac departing, it was the only other original member other than me. Mac was the bass player from just after the end of the first tour of Moshkinstein. We'd already recorded the theatre. Everybody knows Matt was bass player. It's a shame. It's kind of been coming. It wasn't a massive surprise to me. But basically, some tour that we were. There was a possibility of us doing a tour, and we've got started dates, and I threw them his way. And I think it made him realise that I really don't think I can do this. So unfortunately, that's Mac by the wayside as well. So that's Mac gone, that's Ramsey gone, that's Adam gone, and I know what it sounds like. And no, I'm not a massive cunt. I'm well aware of what it must look like from the outside, but it's just, look, Mac really wanted to do it, Ramsey wanted to do it, Adam wanted to do it, and for various reasons they've all had to withdraw. And then and Kev is, as fans of Lawnmower Death will know, Kev is, just might appear, he might not. So and it's no problem with Kev at all. It's just that he spends most of his time on the road. So he spends most of his time on the road working for Bullet for My Valentine. So he can't just all of a sudden go, no, I can't take that 3-month tour because, Acid Rain have got 10 gigs. That's his. So basically, Kev has an open invitation to play any gigs he wants with us. Other than that, it's just going to be me and 4 other guys.
So let's address it now. We've got what Bill Burr refers to as internet cunts. When you're going to get people going, oh, well, it's not a reunion, is it? Well, it's not as if you didn't try, for one. But
exactly, and you're right. But as you said right at the beginning of this, it's not a reformation. It is a reboot. And to be honest, you know what? I've been pleasantly surprised at the lack of internet cunts when it comes to this. And one dissenting voice is saying, "Oh, it's disrespectful. The band wasn't H and just a bunch of hired hands back in the day. It shouldn't be now." Me being me, I always do respond to these comments because I think it's only fair. And besides, I like to just put people in the picture. And I was like, well, look, dude, this reboot has the blessing of all ex-members, but it doesn't have yours. Fine, I can live with that. And about 3 or 4 hours later, he posted and went, "Yeah, you're right. Fuck it. I'll be down the front for life reforms." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I totally understand. Like you said, I tried. If it was possible, it would be the original lineup, and all the way, up until every single member has had a chance, and for whatever reason, they haven't been able to do it. The feedback does seem to be, oh well, never mind. But it's simple. I'll always have the same stock answer to this question, which is, if you want to hear these songs live again, it's either this or nothing. So, yeah, well, I totally understand. I know people get really protective of bands they love. I do, I wasn't. I went over to Germany to see the Big Four, and I wasn't over the moon that I was seeing Anthrax with Andreas Kisser instead of Scott Ian. But such is life, and this is the way it goes. So, I understand, we are going to put some new material out as well. At least one song, hopefully, before we do any gigs, because I want people to realise that this lineup does, kick ass. It is still worthy of the title of Square Dance's Band in the World. So,
this is where things do get exciting, though, because this is going to be more than just a couple of shows to say thank you for the memory sort of thing. You've obviously got some good chemistry with this new lineup. They get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the main guitarist has been a friend of mine for years. He's played with Acid Rain before. I don't want to say too much on that because I don't want to give him away, blow his identity. And it's not Andy Sneap, in case anyone's thinking that's the case. No, he's too busy. Not that we asked him. There is some fantastic chemistry there, some absolutely fantastic chemistry, and more importantly, there's some massive Acid Rain fans in the band, and there's me. So what you have to remember is, like, I was in the band, so I know, you know, from the inside looking out how things work. And those and having fans of the band in the band means that occasionally they might say to me, actually, do you know what? That would piss me off if we did that. If I was a fan coming to this gig, and I'm like, right, okay, yeah, cool. No, so it's really cool. You get the fans' point of view. So I can't, I say fans. It's a clumsy term, but friends. Let's call everybody friends. I'll be James Hetfield for a bit. Yeah. So everyone's part of the Acid Rain family, man. But it's great because you get that point of view, and you think, right, okay. Because I was talking about, maybe doing like half a song and going into another song at rehearsals the other day, and one of the guys went, do you know what? If I came to see you and you did that, I'd be a bit pissed off because, like, that whole section of that song's not done, and it's really cool. I'm like, yeah, cool. So it works both ways. They can, they'll straighten me out occasionally, and vice versa. So it's cool. But yeah, some very good chemistry in there, and the spirit of Acid Rain is alive and well.
How is it going with choosing the set list as well? Because although you did 3 albums and a string of EP, there is a lot of material to choose from, though, isn't there? And are you just going to rehearse the lot and file it down as and when, or have you got?
At the moment, we've learned and got really tight. Creeping Death, For Whom the Bells Tolls, Whiplash, Warriors of Genghis Khan, Humanoia. No. I jest, of course. We have not spent all our time learning Metallica covers. To be honest, the set kind of picks itself, depending on if it was a short festival set. It kind of picks itself because there's songs that you have to play. So songs I would list of songs that we have to play would be Goddess, Motherly Love, Humanoia, Hanging on Telephone, and they're the absolute musts. And then you build everything else around that. Is Life in Form's an absolute must? Yeah, probably, because it's a cool live song. So yeah, there's bits and pieces like that. But we're still we've still got a couple of big chunky ones to add to the set for a longer set. So we've still got Blind Aggression and Thoughtful Sleep to add to the set. But yeah, so we kind of we've got it down. We've got it pretty much where we want it. We've got it tight. Obviously we're gonna have to add a new bass player to that. So anyone listening to this, get in touch if you want to play bass. And I'm working on new stuff as well. I mean, we've actually got demos of 4 new tracks. 2 of those songs are pretty much there. We're pretty much happy with. 2 others still need work. So yeah, we haven't, despite the fact we haven't done a gig, and everyone keeps saying, oh, when are you going to play it live? And come on, hurry up. We have been busy. Promise.
So we got a tour at some point coming, and we got possibly a new album coming as well.
I don't know about album. We're I don't know. People do albums these days. I'm not sure anymore. It's kind of like, well, we don't have to do an album, do we? We could just do an EP. We can, but I'm definitely at the moment the main focus is finding a bass player for a start. Well, but no, the main focus is I would like to get a new song out, because I think it's vital, because with it being a rebooted lineup, there will obviously be a fair amount of suspicion out there about, well, what's it going to be like? I mean, everybody will know that everybody's going to be able to play the songs, but I don't know, what about the spirit, and it's not the same lineup, and I'd like people to just hear at least one song of it and go, all right, okay, cool, yeah, I trust those guys. And also it gets the new guys in the picture as well. I mean, nothing changes all these years later. Well, that's why we released the Humanoia EP. We did that because we wanted to get Mac and Adam's faces out there as being in the band, because Gav and Ian had left, and it's kind of like, yeah, all these years later, we get the song out there so we can get everybody's faces in the press. So next stage is finding a bass player. Stage after that is a photo session for the new lineup, and then announcing the new lineup, and then hopefully following on from that, we'll be announcing the relaunch, massive, big, chunky, juicy relaunch of our website, and ideally that will be to help launch it. We'll have a link there where you'll be able to either stream or download the new song. So that's the plan, but it'll probably all fucking end up the arse about face, but that's the plan, isn't it? That's the plan anyway. So somewhere in there will be do some gigs, but so just watch out wherever you are. There's possible talk of us appearing at a festival and playing one song,
and that will be Zer.
No, I definitely wouldn't do that to people, definitely not. But we'll it may or may not happen. Anything and everything is on the table at the moment.
Yeah, so Acid Rain is alive and well. Things are happening. Watch this space.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you've summed it up quite well there. Yeah, end of interview.
Do you want to pick a song? We're going to play an Acid Rain track.
Do you know what? Off the demos, fuck it. Let's just go with a total blast of Bully Boy, because I do like Bully Boy.
How big is God, how big and wide his vast domain. Oh yeah, things on and no one is right. Straight and exciting, every small this time. Help the family, make contribution, use your family, join the union. Leave me alone. Make mine. Go home. Now you die. When cold shots. Now decide that you're lost. Facing with death, the only way we know. A way of life. Things that are sure. Go. Leave me alone. Make mine. Go home. Bully boy, go up. Bully boy, near up. Bully boy, make mine. Go home.
To the Rock Show with Gully and Joe. I am with H. Howard Smith from Acid Rain. As well as putting the band back together and putting out the box set, you're also quite busy with the All About the Rock Talking Bollocks podcast. I'm really enjoying that. I really am. I didn't expect it to
to take off like it has, but it's gone pretty mental, you know. It's got fans all over the fucking place, and yeah, I'm loving it. It's as I often say on the podcast, it's just me shouting at the air in my front room, and then playing some interviews and just basically babbling about what's happened in the last month of metal to no one. So it's basically everybody who downloads the podcast and listens is enabling my massive ego, and it's great. Thanks, please, everyone, keep doing it.
What I love about the podcast, for people who haven't heard it yet, you must go and check it out. But what's great about it is that you do have a way of just kind of disarming. So when people are getting interviewed, they're probably doing 100 interviews a day or whatever, but when you sort of take a different approach, don't you? And, you know, sometimes the latest album or all the general questions, you don't come out with that. You end up talking, just having a chat. I mean, for example, there's one interview with Igor Cavalera, and they're talking about 20 minutes just about football, you know. But it's great, especially if you're a fan of that person or whatever. It's just great to hear it's just refreshing to hear that different angle, them just talking and just shooting the shit, you know.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, that's kind of why I wanted to do it. I mean, I did an interview with Death Cage recently, and it gets to the end, and he goes, "Oh, is that it?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, do you want to ask me any questions about, like, you know, who my influences are or anything like that?" And I went, "Oh, no. No, I'll leave that to other interviews." He goes, "Oh, great, thanks, because I fucking hate those Christians." And like, it's like, well, yeah, you know, ultimately, if you want to hear about what's Igor Cavaliero's favourite song to play live, what's his favourite Sepultura song, what's his favourite album, what's his, you know, what's he enjoying more, Cavaliero Conspiracy or mixtape, it's like, I'll leave that to everybody else, you know. The idea is that we sit down and just, you know, just sort of shoot the shit about all sorts of stuff, and hopefully, yeah, people get out of it something that they wouldn't get out of, you know, another interview.
What's great as well is the amount of music I've discovered through the podcast. I mean, and even if there's a band you've sort of heard of but not really bothered by, you listen to the interview. At the end of it, you go, "I really like this bloke." I mean, I never really got into Twisted Sister until I saw this really in-depth interview with Dee Snider, and the same with Tom Fisher, actually, from Celtic Frost. It was watching this really in-depth interview with him. It's just like, right, I don't even care if I like the band or not now. I'm going to go and buy everything this guy's done because I like him, you know. And you're also busy as the Keith Platt as well. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah. Well, I've just launched the Keith Platt website as well, so everybody please feel free to go to keithplatt.co.uk, where you can find out where I'm gigging near you at any given time. You can also buy some Keith Platt hats, mugs, t-shirts, and Bastard on Board stickers. And yeah, I mean, you know, I love, obviously, you know, stand-up is to be honest, music is, you know, doing the band again is making me realise how much I love being in a band. And whilst I love doing comedy, and it's fucking awesome, I love stand-up, and, you know, I do it constantly. You know, one thing stand-up isn't being in a metal band. You know, and there's just something about, you know, playing in a metal band, in a thrash band, that, you know, you can't get anywhere else. There's just a buzz you can't get anywhere else. But no, I love doing stand-up. I do stuff as me and stuff as Keith, and it's great fun. But one thing I must ask you, actually, just going back to the question about the podcast, have you discovered any bands through listening to the podcast?
Off the top of my head, I've got into Incentrics and Reanimator. I haven't got anything by them yet, though, because finding their CDs on Amazon, they're like 45 quid. I really enjoyed the interview with the head of Music for Nations. There's some really interesting stuff on that. Do you want to pick another track, if anything? Do you want to play another Acid Rain one? Maybe Goddess or Creative Restraint?
You're gonna throw some ideas my way, are you? Okay, right. Now, to be honest, I kind of say this a lot, but my favourite, not necessarily our best song or whatever, but my own personal favourite Acid Rain song, where I think it all comes together beautifully, and everything just works. And it will be in any set we play, would be from Obnoxious opening track, Close Your Mind to Controversy, Creative Restraint.
Excellent song. And the main theme to the podcast as well, might add.
Yes, yeah. I did manage to nick that and stick it in there.
Your aim is to culture future generations. Thanks to my loud is beckoning all of you, all of you.